There are two numbers that are burned into my memory that I will never forget. Random numbers. The first number is 207. You see, when I turned 18 years old, it was the closing years of the Vietnam War. And I had to go and register with the Selective Service Bureau, the draft board. And the way they did it back then is that they would assign a random number to your birth date. And the number assigned to everyone with my birthday was 207. The second number I will not forget is the number 200, because that year, everyone with the draft lottery numbers from 200 or less was put on notice that they could be called up for active military service and be sent into the war. If you had a low number, like some of the guys that I knew, you tried to join the Navy or the Coast Guard. Some of the guys took off for Canada to avoid the draft. And if you had a high number like me, well, you were okay. Vietnam was an unpopular war. It was televised. News at 11. You could see our guys shooting at something. You could see the bombers coming in and dropping the napalm bombs that erupted into fire that looked like it just went on and on forever. And people protested. They wondered, why are we there? Some of the guys burned their draft cards. And there were songs. One of the songs was by Country Joe and the Fish, called What Are We Fighting For? Here are the words of the last verse. Well, come on, mothers throughout this land. Pack your boys off to Vietnam. Come on, pops, don't hesitate. Send them off before it's too late. Be the first one on your block to have your boy come home in a box. And the chorus. And it's 1, 2, 3. What are we fighting for? Don't ask me, I don't give a damn. And next stop is Vietnam. And it's 5, 6, 7. Open up the pearly gates. Well, there ain't no time to wonder why. Whoopee, we're all gonna die. And when our soldiers came home from Vietnam, they were not welcomed as heroes who had served their country. They were called murderers. Some people even spit on them. And today, whenever I see a Vietnam veteran, usually they wear a hat or a jacket or something, I always try to thank them for their service. And if we get a chance to talk, and I tell them that I did not have to go, they all say the same thing, that we are glad you did not have to go. Some of these guys did 2 or 3 tours of duty over there. And I cannot help but feel like that some of those guys who came home in a box took my place. We lost nearly 60,000 soldiers in Vietnam and about 150,000 or so wounded. There's one guy I met after the war, his name was Kamazi. We called him Cosmo. Cosmo came home in one piece. He thought he'd made it. But later he died of cancer that was linked to Agent Orange. Agent Orange was a chemical that the military used to kill the jungle so they could see how to kill more of the enemy. And a lot of the guys who had been exposed to Agent Orange died of cancer, or they came home and produced children who had birth defects as a result of that exposure to Agent Orange. And I remember all this because I recently heard some things about Vietnam. Did you know that the United States of America is the largest importer of products from Vietnam? Some of you are probably wearing clothing that was manufactured in Vietnam. The 8th largest foreign student population in the United States are Vietnamese students. And in 2015, just last year, nearly 500,000 Americans went to Vietnam as tourists. And when you get to Vietnam, you know, you can order Kentucky Fried Chicken. And all this makes me wonder why we didn't just skip the stupid war and buy their products and educate their children and send our tourists over there by the thousands with Kentucky Fried Chicken. But we didn't.